Welcome back, my fellow game developers. In this video we've actually fixed our enemy's incredible ball throwing skills. So now he simply throws at us and at a certain pace and with great precision, I might add. So he shoots at us, but we can still dodge him. So in this video we are going to be enhancing our AI. We'll reduce the amount of bullets that he can, well, throw at us, and it will also direct them towards our player. With that said, let's not waste any more time and let's get started. Okay, so the first step that we want to do is we actually want to go to the grenade in here, or actually let's go to the scripts and let's go ahead and create an enemy projectile controller. So we'll create an enemy projectile controller, hit enter, yes, of course, and wait for it to compile. And now let's go ahead and go to our bullets, open up the grenade, go back to the script, and let's attach this. Let's make this trail a bit smaller and attach the enemy projectile in here. So please let me add you somewhere in here. So okay, so now we have this enemy projectile controller attached to our grenade, or the enemy grenade. Let's double click and open this up. So in here what we are going to do is we'll actually go ahead and add a couple of forces to our bullet to make it jump towards the player. So to add forces we'll need to access the rigid body, because we are going to use this rigid body.add force, and it does exactly as it says. It adds a force to the rigid body. You can choose the amount of force that you want to add with a vector 3, and you can choose the mode of the force. We are going to be adding an impulse force. So let the force be with you and let's start this. First of all, we get a reference to the rigid body, so we can go ahead and create a rigid body, and we have it as a component. So my rigid body, we can immediately access it, and we are going to create a public. Actually, we're going to create two variables in here. So one of them will be the up force, and one of them will be the forward force. So these two forces will be added to our projectile, and it will jump in a certain direction, which should be the player. So in here, first of all, we're going to get the component. So my rigid body will be equal to the get component and the rigid body. So now we have access. Next thing we're going to do, inside of start, we are going to create a method that will grenade throw, and we're going to go ahead and generate this method. So as soon as this grenade or this projectile gets instantiated, we are immediately going to go ahead and add a force to my rigid body dot add a force and the transform dot forward, so in the forward direction, times the forward force, and it's going to be a force mode of impulse. So it's an impulse. So force mode dot impulse. So it's not continuous, it just hits the ball and it then flies away in the direction that it needs to go, and the direction is calculated by the Unity's physics. And in here we are going to add a up force, so in the up direction, and multiplied by the up force. Also, it's also going to be a force impulse. Let's save that. And now let's go ahead and assign this up force and forward force. And in here we're going to make the up force around 8 and the forward force around 32. Let's save that. Let's try this. Now obviously this is not going to work. Where's our little munchkin? So he fires incredible balls, so his balls are really something to behold, but this is not what we want. We want to actually fix two things in here. So first of all, we want to change the direction, and second of all, we want to actually control the firing amount of our balls. So let's go ahead and issue you a challenge. So your challenge is to control the firing rate of our enemy. So create a coroutine that will wait for a certain time before it's ready to fire. If you already know how to do this, and we've already done this, pause the video right now and go do the challenge. If not, let me give you a couple of hints. So create an attack time and create a boolean to check if the enemy is ready to fire. So pause the video right now and go do the challenge. Okay, welcome back. So into the enemy we go, and in here we are going to create the, first of all, the attack time. So it's going to be a public float, so we can adjust it if we want. And then we are going to add a, where's the boolean in here? I remember. So we're going to add a ready to attack. Save that. Now let's go ahead and create a coroutine. So the coroutine will wait for the attack time to finish, and then it will set the ready attack back to true. So where should we put it? Let's put it in here. So I enumerator. So I enumerator, and we'll call this the reset attack. And in here we are going to yield return new wait for seconds, and it's going to be the attack time. And when we finish this attack time, we are going to set the ready to attack back to true. And where are we going to set this to false and call the coroutine? Well, in here, after we instantiate, we are going to go ahead and what was it called? The ready to attack. Okay, so ready to attack will be equals to false, and then we are going to start the coroutine, and it's going to be the reset attack. And as a final step, of course, we need to make it impossible for our enemy to be able to shoot unless he is ready to shoot. So let's go ahead and create this condition in here that sets that allows us only to instantiate whenever we are ready to attack. So let's go back into our game in here, go to our smart enemy, and let's make the attack time around 1. So this should be limiting our attack or the enemy's attack. So we hit play, we get close to the enemy, he looks at us, and he doesn't shoot at all. So what gives? I think it's because our ready to attack is already false. So up here, let's go ahead and set the ready to attack to be true at the beginning as its default value. And now let's go ahead and start the game, hit play. Come on, hit play. And our enemy should be shooting when we get close. Okay, great, but something is still wrong. So it seems as if he is not shooting at us, he's shooting in some kind of weird direction. So let's change that. Let's go into our scripts, and in here, I don't think it should be quaternion. I think it should be, let's change this to the transform dot local rotation. So this will definitely, local rotation. So this way it will definitely be pointing towards us. So now we hit play, and the quaternion dot identity is usually for the world position. Okay, so the world rotation. So now you can see that he actually shot one at us, and then something weird happened. So let's try this again. We get close, and nope, he shot one towards us, but something is wrong. So something is not working, and some of them are shooting very weirdly, and some of them are not working. So now the problem is that our grenade, before it actually launches towards our player, is getting stuck by the collider on the enemy. Now we can remove the collider on the enemy, but then how are we going to kill him? So what we'll do is I will create a layer in here. So we'll edit the layers. We'll create a enemy projectile. And a very cool thing about these layers is that we can actually go to the project settings, and let's just undock it in here. Let's go to our physics, and in here you can see that we have this big matrix. And what this matrix allows us to do is it allows us to stop certain layers from interacting with other layers. So for example, we have the enemy projectile in here, and it interacts with everything. And because our smart enemy is on the default layer, we can go ahead and turn off, let's turn off everything and keep the interaction only with the ground, with the player, and with other enemy projectiles. So let's save that, and now I believe if we hit play, did we set the grenade as the enemy projectile? No, we didn't. So layer, enemy projectile, yes, change children, let's hit play. And now when we get close to the enemy, he shoots directly at us, and there is nothing that goes wrong with the movement of the projectile. Great. With that done, let's just make sure, maybe some of you will encounter this problem. If you can't see the bullets, go to the culling mask and make sure that the enemy the enemy projectile, you can see it. It's not invisible. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and in the next one we'll be adding huge scary monsters with a huge robot. Well, maybe the robot will not be that big, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.